Hey guys, Angelina County, Steve here. How you doing, Mr. Delcifino and your staff? Um, Thank you for watching this video. First of all, I love the work you do. I share everything, and I want to give you guys a quick update on my status of my investigation. I can't do investigations like you can. You guys are freaking awesome. However, your videos and the work you guys do have empowered me to get involved, to actually start questioning my government. And as probably you found out, it's not easy. I mean, these guys don't want to talk to you. So thank you guys for the work you do. I'm gonna share some information, and hopefully this will help you out, or maybe make a decision if you guys want to proceed forward or not. I have requested Freedom of Information Act from every swinging PP that I could possibly imagine, from the Attorney General all the way down. And this request of information I got back today from the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, and they reiterate the fact that, and this is a Glenn Earl Smallwood's death in Angelina County is what I'm referring to. Sorry about that, guys. Is what I'm referring to. I'm going to issue you a report. I'm not going to do it in link. I'm going to do it online. I'm going to issue a report of what we got back, and also the letter that tells me that something fishy is going on. I'm not going to go through the whole story. You can read about it. However, the fact is, I'd like to alert your office to be looking out for it, because there's major discrepancies. We have, as you have found out, we have a very difficult time getting Freedom of Information requests back. We also have denial of information that is in public interest. Now, we have went all the way up to the Attorney General. I don't know if you realize this, but HR 30 passed this last year, which means any death in custody has got to be documented. And also, proper change of plan for a DACA request. Also, we have to have major issues addressed. However, Sheriff Selman refuses to release the video of the actual incident. The details are as follows, and I have contacted the DPS. I got the report from the DPS. I also got a report from the coroner's office, and the statement by Sheriff Selman, and they all don't match up. I could go through each individual time frame, but it doesn't add up, and so questions need to be answered and asked. We have been denied multiple times by the sheriff. He will not release this video, and the video is proof of that there were malfeasance, and that I believe, in my opinion, that this man died. His death was preventable, based on the information that I've gathered. The key incident here is the fact is that we do have the videos from the Lufkin Police Department. We don't have the video of him actually getting to the Sally Port of Angelina County. But here's the key. This is what got me thinking and started my progression, was this. He was dead at 11:36. Okay. The coroner's report states that he was dead at 11:36. He was not booked, per the records, in Angelina County Jail until 12:28. So in other words, he died in custody. He died in custody waiting on booking. That to me tells me that there something else is fishy going on. Also, the fact is that Sheriff Selman has issued a statement where he was deposed. He was the only one that was deposed. The guards that were involved, I have a list of those. The guards of those that were involved were never deposed. They were never interviewed in either the DPS investigation or by the TC TCJS, the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. No one's ever looked into it and get the stories right. So in essence, what we're looking at is that we've got a deposition from a sheriff who wasn't even there. He was not even there. The stories of the individuals and the actual events through their eyes and their story. Here we go. James Hicks, the DPS officer that is hired, he's the one who conducted the investigation. Now I have a question, because the fact is that I was told that he would be transferred out of Angelina County. They transferred him to NAC. So why in the hell is he doing an investigation on a death in Angelina County Jail? See where I'm going with this? So the fact of the matter is that it's just too much. It's the same thing over and over again what we find in Angelina County. And this goes all the way back to our county jail standards. We have been found not compliant on these issues. One, not checking on prisoners in a timely fashion. Number two, refusal of issuing medication to inmates. And also we have a pattern of wait times to see the doctor up to 2 to 3 weeks. Southern Healthcare Partners are the individuals who contract, who are actually there to actually provide medical services. The medical personnel on duty were never disposed. They were never deposed. So we have one spokesman who wasn't even there telling us what happened, and let's hear it from the real people who were there, who actually performed this. Also, the issue comes up is that the trustees that were there also have publicly stated that they cleaned up blood from a jail cell. They were ordered to clean up blood from the jail cell. None of them were deposed. So pretty much of a bullshit investigation, if you ask me, of not finding out what really happened there. In other words, it's a whitewash. They throw it on the table. So there are many issues that are involved. There are probably questions you want to ask me. I don't have the $4,000. I don't. All I can do is provide you with the tips and the information that I have received and have been working on. And I have basically, being an individual citizen, we're basically cut out of the loop, because the fact is they don't want to share information with us, what you have learned in your experience dealing with Angelina County. So I will also throw this tip in. I know you're going to cover this as well. They have recently approved an expansion of the county jail in Angelina County. I have no problem with that. But here's the question. If we cannot properly supervise our inmates now, how are we going to do it in a bigger jail? How are we going to do that? Because we already have individuals that are not performing their duties to the inmates there. So what does another 250 beds mean? That means another 250 people that are actually in jail that won't be attended to. Once again, I mentioned Southern Healthcare Partners because the fact is when I did research on them, Southern Healthcare Partners have had many complaints such as this nature, and they've actually been held liable in lawsuits. So these continuing situations go on in other prisons as well that they contracted with. Now, if Southern Healthcare had anything to do with this, then they would be able to provide me with the individual who is on duty from their office. Angelina County won't release the individual with medical personnel. Southern Healthcare Partners, I've actually issued 2 Freedom of Information requests with no answers. All I asked for was the individuals who work or have contract or who they assigned to work at the county jail. So, taking from your lead, lack of information and questionable items would be something you want the public would want to delve into or start asking questions. And when we do, we're shut down on every link, every avenue that we have. In my mind, I believe that Texas, yeah, I can't remember this, TCJS. I believe that they water. I just believe that they just said, "Oh, it's another death." And they didn't even go into it. They didn't even find them non-compliant in this issue. The individual I spoke with was Ricky Armstrong, and I talked to him personally this morning, and he said that the investigation said no non-compliance issues. They couldn't do anything about it. Well, my question is if you have a death in the jail, wouldn't you go and investigate that jail? Wouldn't you go and see what actually happened? Because you're in charge of jail standards. Where's your investigation? Who signed off on that? So, with all these issues that are coming down the pike, whatever. Anyway, all this stuff that's coming down the pipe, it just don't add up. And this is par for the course here in Angelina County. It just don't add up. What they say and what they produce, it doesn't add up. And if it is something that they can produce that actually doesn't fit their narrative of what happened, they withhold it. I am open to ideas on where do I go to find this information out. Everywhere that I've looked, they've shut the door on me. In your video, sir, you said that it took you 2 years to receive the video that you have of Nacogdoches. We also have a precedent that took 2 years for Uvalde to release the videos. Do you see a pattern here? So, with this pattern being followed by more than one county, do we know of anywhere that I can send? I'll do the work, I'll do the paper, I'll do whatever it takes, but is there an open line of communication with whatever I get? Do I send it to you, or do I just provide you the investigation details or whatever? Because I believe that this has to be investigated further, because something is just not right. The judge that I got the information from the coroner's report, I had to go down and get it. I had to pay $2.75. Didn't care. I wanted to cost whatever. But anyway, he was very inquisitive of why I wanted it. I got the documentation. I was reading it right there. He said, "What are you looking for?" I said, the time frames just don't match up. He goes, "Oh, well, cause of death is right there. Close the book. All right there." No, sir, it's not all there. Every report that's released has got to match up to the time frame that is given by the sheriff, because he was the first one that was deposed, and he was the only one, and he wasn't even there. So, in other words, he was speaking for the inmates and the medical personnel that actually performed the restraints that was put on Mr. Now, how do I get that? There's no mention of in the deposition that there were restraints used. On the coroner's report, they noticed that there were bruises on Mr. Smallwood's chest, which they contributed to CPR. I'll buy that. What about the bruises on his arms where restraint straps go? What about those bruises? What about those bruises on his leg? What about the cut head? None of those were being addressed. None of those. In addition to, if you're going to put an inmate in restraints, there have to be at least 6 to 8 personnel there to perform this. There also needs to be a supervisor and the medical personnel there to witness you putting him in restraints. In other words, the medical personnel see if there's something that's negative affected where he can't go in, and when he does go in, everything's fine, yoki dokie, and that's it. Lieutenant Rodriguez, who was on duty, he supervised it. We are We have no documentation showing that he was even there. We have no documentation. So, in other words, the sense of urgency in this individual, which actually in another county has been brought forward, I believe it's in Tarrant County, the sense of urgency by Lieutenant Rodriguez was not noticed. The sense of urgency by the medical personnel, they were not noticed. The actual blood pressure was not produced. Matter of fact, well, here's what they said. It was high. It was in the high range, but it was high, but it was in the range. You had an individual in distress, and you got him restrained. You take his blood pressure, and all of a sudden, you know what? He's all right. So, all that information involved, it gets better before it gets worse, or it gets worse before it gets better. The time frames do not match up. The evidence does not match up, and we are told to sit down and swallow it. Now, were there drugs in Mr. Smallwood's was it in his body? Yes, it was. But here's the kicker. On the coroner's report, if it was drugs that was actually caused this, it would say accidental overdose. On the coroner's report, it says accident. Now, with all these restraints being applied to this individual, here we go. On the tape from the Lufkin Police Department, they were notified by the dispatch that he was AMA. I'm not really for sure what the term AMA, but it means he needed medical assistance. He had been at a hospital detoxing earlier that day. He had left the hospital, returning by foot to a mental hospital where he was receiving treatment. Angelina Lufkin Police Department asked us one question. Well, is he AMA or not? The dispatcher says, well, not technically. Not technically. Okay. What does that mean? Is there a time frame that you put somebody on AMA or this to be on the lookout for or whatever? And it's even stated by the officers of the Lufkin Police Department that actually stated that, you know what, this must be the guy we've been looking for today. So obviously, this AMA report came in within the last 24 hours. And for some reason, the dispatcher says, no, he's not technically. I can't blame the dispatcher. She's doing her job. But the fact of the matter is that if you've been AMA a couple hours before, I think maybe you should still be AMA or you should be checked out. But we didn't do that. Here's the kicker. Here's what I believe. I believe that Mr. Smallwell was a black man who was experiencing psychosis due to or part of his drug consumption, which was not in a range. It was not in a range to where they could actually charge him with possession or anything of this, whatever. And I believe because he was a black man in this condition, I believe that he did not get the care that he is entitled to, because of the fact is he was black and he was actually intoxicated per se. But my bill, you guys might, everybody's a human being. There are procedures that are set in place to avoid just deaths in a county jail. Keep in mind, this individual was innocent until proven guilty. He was not booked in until 12/28. Hell, he was dead at 11/36. How the hell did that happen? When contacted, oh well, it's a typo. Okay, let's go with that. If it's a typo, okay, but guess what? The booking report was handwritten. I don't know. Go figure. So the key question is here is that, I guess, what good is the Bill of Rights if we cannot sue for this. I heard that. I wrote that down off of West Wing. I do. But that is my question. And I have utilized every asset that I have to obtain this information because I am a firm believer we will actually get to know what actually happened to Mr. Smallwood. So as the public, we can actually determine, do they need more training? Do we need to fund more training? Do we need to um, to provide better to provide better equipment? What does the public need to do to avoid this situation? And the video would tell us right there. But it won't be released. And my question is how come all these other agencies and counties in Texas are now realizing they need to release this video, release their videos? What makes us different? What makes us special? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out one day. But this is the scoop that I've got. This is I'm piecing this together. There's a lot more information that I have that your company may or may not be interested in. And I won't be mad at you. I won't hold a grudge. Nothing. If this doesn't fit your fit your goals or what your company want to achieve, I understand. However, the fact is that one time on your videos, you asked a question: Angelina County, where are you? Where are the citizens of Angelina County? I took that to heart. I was like, you know what? What am I doing to help this situation? So, if from time to time I do issue a video because it allows your entire staff to look and see if this is worth investigating for you guys or not. And I know there's $4,000 involved, and I will somehow come up with that money. Somehow we will raise enough money. I will, or however I get it, or whatever, to pay you because your efforts deserve to be rewarded. You can't just go out doing charity events, and I understand that. But this is a matter of explaining a death in a county jail with information that doesn't make sense. Now, do we spend money on a boat? Could that money have been used to better our jail system for training for our individuals? Could it be used to make sure that there's not a death in Angelina County Jail? Leave you with this. 2022, a female died of pneumonia. Someone will tell you, oh, she died at the hospital. No, for 3 weeks, she sat in Angelina County Jail requesting every day to see the doctor because something was right. Something wasn't right. She fell to pneumonia. Now, do I take Sheriff Selman's word and say, well, she died en route to the hospital? Not after this report. Not after these facts were found. So I ask, all due respect, I haven't met your staff. The one person I met, I can't remember her name. Man, she was great. And I hope your staff will be able to take a look at this from an objective view. And if I'm full of shit, just tell me, Steve, you're full of shit, and I'll go on with that. But I do believe that you being an investigative reporter, if you cannot, if you don't want to pursue this or whatever, I understand. You can please pass it on to somebody or make somebody aware in your channels to where they'll look into this. See if I'm right or wrong, but I have documentation that 80% says there's a problem here. The other 20%, I have to believe what they tell me, and I don't believe everything Angelina County tells. Matter of fact, I don't believe a damn thing they say. But hey, who am I? Thank you so much thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this, Mr. Delcifino. I respect your work. I respect your staff as well. I know how hard they have to work. I know the pain that they go through to get these freedom of information requests. I know it's a pain in the butt because I've had to do it myself. And I understand that you're still waiting on freedom of information requests as well. If for any reason, if you need me to forward freedom of information request, if you need me to do research or find out issues or whatever, sir, I'm all I'm all for it. I'm not asking for employment. I'm not asking for a job, but this is something that I think is very important. And I think that you're doing a great job doing it. And I think that you could maybe or could not use the help, but for the dirty work, for the leg work, or whatever, I'm volunteering my time. So that's my plug. Whatever. I'm not trying to get a job, man. After doing this, I don't want to do this shit. But hey, if it helps the public, then it helps the public. Thank you, Mr. Delcifino. Thank you to the staff. Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. And you guys define investigative reporting. And right on time. That's what we need. Thank you guys.